The young and the restless spoilers Amanda Sinclair had always been seen as a mystery in Genoa City, her charm and enigmatic smile masking a deeper, darker truth that lay buried beneath her polished, professional exterior. For months, the residents of Genoa had speculated wildly about her extended absence, murmuring that perhaps she had finally decided to seek love and family far away from the turmoil of corporate schemes and personal vendettas. But no one, not even the closest to her, could have ever imagined the disturbing secret she harbored, or the nightmare she had willingly embraced. Amanda's prolonged absence was far more sinister than any simple retreat or quiet reflection. It was, in fact, a carefully calculated disappearance intended to conceal her hidden marriage, a union that would shake the very foundations of trust once its reality emerged. For Amanda had married Carter, the enigmatic man whose sudden rise to prominence as Kane Ashby's assistant had always raised suspicion among the more discerning residents of Genoa. Carter, whose charm and efficiency masked ruthless ambition, had long maneuvered silently behind the scenes, manipulating Kane's business dealings, quietly orchestrating chaos from the shadows. Amanda's choice of Carter as her husband was shocking enough, but their shared life went deeper into darkness than even the most cynical could have anticipated. Together, they had carefully crafted a facade, posing as independent, disconnected figures within the intricate social fabric of Genoa, while in reality, they had built a secretive, deeply intertwined family unit hidden beneath layers of deception. The revelation that Amanda and Carter shared not only marriage but parenthood was perhaps the most startling of all, raising their young daughter in secrecy, shielding her from public scrutiny, and ensuring that not even the most persistent investigator would find a trail leading back to her. Yet the foundations of their carefully crafted illusion began to crack under the immense pressure of the crimes they had committed. Damian Kane's murder had rocked Genoa City to its core, prompting relentless investigations that seemed always to circle back ominously toward Kane Ashby. Chance Chancellor's death only deepened the mystery, drawing even greater suspicion and attention toward Carter, whose professional proximity to Kane seemed now far more calculated and purposeful than coincidental. And when Nick Newman was grievously injured, suspicion surged once again, setting off a chain reaction that could no longer be contained. Genoa City was slowly piecing together a puzzle, each fragment pointing inexorably toward Amanda and Carter. Their guilt, concealed beneath practiced smiles and rehearsed alibis, grew heavier with each passing day, their nerves increasingly frayed by paranoia and fear. With each passing investigation, each probing question from Genoa City police and anxious journalists, Amanda and Carter felt the net tighten around them, until escape appeared the only viable option remaining. Their sudden decision to flee to Nice, France, was not made out of a desire for a romantic fresh start, but rather a desperate attempt to evade the relentless pursuit of justice. Under the sunny skies of Nice, Amanda hoped to find some semblance of peace, a place where she could reclaim an ordinary existence away from judgmental eyes and endless interrogations. Carter, too, believed that distance might shield them, believing Europe's relative anonymity could bury their past permanently. They were driven not by remorse, but by the cold instinct for self-preservation, and by the naive hope that leaving Genoa would allow them to rewrite their lives, unburdened by the heavy consequences of their actions. Yet, wherever they went, the ghosts of their victims followed. The whispers grew louder, even abroad, as news reached them of renewed investigations into Damian's mysterious death, Chance's unsolved murder, and the violent attack on Nick Newman. Their veneer of innocence was peeling rapidly, and soon, they realized that hiding was no longer sufficient. They would have to reckon with the harsh reality that justice has a relentless memory, incapable of being deceived by mere distance or carefully constructed illusions. The turning point came unexpectedly, in a moment that seemed almost predestined. It was Lily Winters who inadvertently discovered the secret link between Amanda and Carter, stumbling across an overlooked document, hastily hidden yet carelessly misplaced in Kane Ashby's abandoned office. Lily, whose intuition had always served her well, now felt a sense of impending doom as she unfolded the paper, a marriage certificate clearly naming Amanda Sinclair and Carter as husband and wife, legally wed years ago, a union meticulously hidden from all but themselves. Lily's shock quickly turned into a determined pursuit of truth. Her discovery swiftly became a catalyst for investigators, who pieced together the sinister chain connecting Amanda and Carter directly to Genoa City's recent tragedies. As authorities closed in, Amanda and Carter realized their worst fears were now inevitable truths. Facing imminent arrest, they desperately tried to shield their daughter from the crushing reality awaiting her. They had imagined their little girl growing up unscarred by their past deeds, free from the knowledge of the bloodstains they had left behind. Yet now, as they prepared for the inevitable collapse of their carefully constructed world, Amanda was struck by a belated surge of remorse, not for herself, but for the innocent child caught in the crossfire of her own moral corruption. Would her daughter ever find peace or normality after being thrust into the harsh glare of notoriety? Would the community judge the child as harshly as her parents, condemning her to a life shadowed by the stigma of their crimes? The answer to these haunting questions lay uncertainly ahead. When the handcuffs snapped closed around Amanda and Carter's wrists, the whispers became shouts, scandal spreading like wildfire. Genoa City and Nice alike were consumed by the revelation that beneath the guise of professionalism and respectability had lurked monstrous secrets and terrible deeds. Amanda, once a respected attorney admired for her eloquence and poise, now stood exposed as a calculating criminal, her name forever stained by murder and deception. Carter, whose quiet presence had always evoked curiosity rather than fear, was now revealed as a cold-blooded manipulator whose ambitions had destroyed lives. Together, they were taken away, leaving behind a bewildered child who could only look on, innocent yet tragically bound to their sins. In the aftermath, Genoa City grappled with shock and betrayal, struggling to reconcile their former perceptions with the stark truth of Amanda and Carter's villainy. Their daughter, meanwhile, found herself at the mercy of social services, her future precariously uncertain. Could the community separate her from her parents' guilt, giving her a chance at redemption and normalcy? Would her young age shield her from judgment, allowing her to one day rewrite her own story free from the shadow cast by her parents' crimes? Or would society, unable to forgive or forget, forever brand her by association, condemning her to bear the burdens of deeds not her own? Ultimately, the unfolding tragedy of Amanda and Carter forced everyone involved, directly or indirectly, to confront deeply uncomfortable truths about themselves, their community, and the thin line separating respectability from depravity. Their downfall served as a grim reminder that no secret could remain buried forever, and that eventually, every act, good or evil, would meet its rightful consequence. The legacy of Amanda and Carter's misdeeds was clear. No matter how carefully hidden, sins will surface, demanding a reckoning. And for their daughter, the innocent victim caught between monstrous parents and an unforgiving society, the future held only uncertainty, a cruel punishment for crimes she did not commit, yet an undeniable reality she must now navigate alone. As Nate stood beneath the sprawling branches of the old oak trees in Chancellor Park, their shadows gently swaying across his troubled face, he felt a profound heaviness pressing down upon him. The news he had received from Lily Winters just hours ago echoed like a cruel refrain in his mind, refusing to be silenced. He knew the moment he saw Amy approaching, her gentle smile and eyes sparkling with fragile hope, that what he had to tell her would shatter the delicate peace she had painstakingly rebuilt. Amy had fought bravely to reclaim her health, buoyed by an unyielding determination fueled by dreams of a second chance with Damian Kane. Yet now, Nate bore the unbearable burden of robbing her of that hope, of extinguishing the light that had guided her through darkness. As Amy drew nearer, Nate's discomfort was evident in every subtle gesture, the way his hands trembled slightly, the nervous shift of his feet, the solemn cast of his eyes. Amy, intuitive and perceptive, quickly sensed that something troubled him deeply. Her tentative smile faltered as she paused, studying his expression, sensing the hesitation and dread that had overtaken him. When she softly asked if everything was all right, Nate struggled desperately to gather the strength to voice the words he wished he never had to speak. How could he gently tell her that Damian, the man whose memory had sustained her through treatments, whose existence represented her hopes for love renewed, was now gone forever? Finally, after a painful silence, Nate forced himself to speak, his voice trembling slightly as he uttered the devastating news. "Amy," he whispered, barely audible, as if speaking quietly might somehow soften the impact, "I don't know how to tell you this, but Damien, he's gone. He's dead." Amy stood frozen for a moment, disbelief clouding her features, her eyes wide with shock as she absorbed the unimaginable revelation. Nate could see the questions forming rapidly in her mind, tumbling out in a rush of confusion and panic. How could Damien be dead? What had happened? Who would harm him? Why had fate chosen to be so unbearably cruel when they were on the brink of reclaiming their future? With great sorrow, Nate recounted Lily's heartbreaking revelation of Damien's violent end, the grim details he could barely speak aloud, each word like a dagger twisting in Amy's heart. As Nate spoke, Amy visibly recoiled, the pain in her expression intensifying, tears rapidly filling her eyes until they overflowed, leaving trails of grief etched across her pale cheeks. Her knees weakened, forcing her to sink onto the park bench behind her, her shoulders shaking uncontrollably as she wept openly for the love she had lost so cruelly and abruptly. Nate instinctively moved to comfort her, knowing that no words could truly ease the depths of her suffering. He gently placed an arm around her trembling shoulders, silently offering support through his presence alone, knowing that Amy's dreams of reuniting with Damien, now shattered beyond repair, had been the beacon leading her through the grueling battles she had fought to regain her health. Without Damien, that dream vanished, leaving only darkness, confusion, and overwhelming grief. Nate's heart ached profoundly for Amy's devastating loss, even as he himself grappled with the shock of Damien's death, understanding fully that the tragedy would echo through Genoa City, leaving lasting scars on all who had known him. Meanwhile, across town, in stark contrast to the heartbreaking scene in Chancellor Park, another dramatic shift was unfolding within the Newman family. Victoria Newman, still grieving the loss of Cole Howard, was finding unexpected solace in the company of Adam Newman, her half-brother, whose relationship with her had long been defined by rivalry, suspicion, and bitter conflict. Yet, in the wake of so much tragedy, Adam had stepped forward with surprising empathy and genuine support, offering Victoria a shoulder upon which she could lean. This newfound unity between them was a stunning development, quietly reshaping the intricate dynamics of the Newman empire. It had begun slowly, subtly, following Cole's tragic death, when Adam, moved by genuine compassion rather than ambition or manipulation, extended an olive branch toward his grieving sister. Victoria, initially wary of Adam's intentions, had gradually recognized the authenticity of his support, sensing for the first time the possibility that their fractured family might finally heal the wounds of the past. Adam's sincere gesture of sympathy marked a turning point, allowing Victoria to begin lowering her defenses, cautiously welcoming her brother into a newfound alliance that seemed poised to strengthen their family's legacy. Victor Newman, ever watchful over his family's well-being, observed this burgeoning connection with cautious optimism. He had long hoped to see his children united rather than divided, recognizing the strength their solidarity would bring not only to their personal lives but to the Newman family empire itself. Victor understood better than anyone the destructive power of family discord and had witnessed firsthand the emotional and professional toll taken by prolonged sibling rivalry. Now, as he watched Victoria and Adam tentatively build bridges rather than walls, Victor began to nurture the hope that his family could finally find peace and unity after years of turmoil and division. Yet even as one family slowly healed its divisions, other secrets simmered dangerously below the surface in Genoa City, threatening to erupt and further destabilize the community already shaken by loss and scandal. The deaths of Damien and Chance Chancellor, the attempted murder of Nick Newman, and the disturbing revelations surrounding Amanda Sinclair and Carter continued to send shockwaves through the city, entangling everyone in a web of suspicion, betrayal, and hidden truths. No one in Genoa was entirely untouched by the spreading ripple effects of these devastating events, each new revelation tearing further at the fabric of trust that held the community together. And in the midst of this storm, Amanda Sinclair's carefully guarded secret, that she was married to Carter, Kane Ashby's once trusted assistant, and that together they had masterminded unspeakable crimes, was on the brink of discovery, promising yet more upheaval and heartbreak. Their hidden daughter, innocent yet burdened by the sins of her parents, would soon find herself at the mercy of a community that had been deceived and betrayed by those she trusted most. Back in Chancellor Park, Nate continued to comfort Amy, whose inconsolable grief echoed painfully through his own heart. Nate knew this moment marked the beginning of yet another difficult journey for Amy, one where healing would feel impossibly distant, where the ghost of Damien's lost love would linger long into the future. Nate silently vowed to stand by her, offering unwavering support, determined to help her find strength again, even amidst unbearable sorrow. As Nate comforted Amy and the Newman family tentatively moved toward reconciliation, Genoa City stood on the precipice of change, its residents bound together in shared grief, hidden secrets, and fragile hope. Their lives, interconnected through tragedy and triumph, would continue unfolding with uncertainty and complexity, each character facing the stark reality that life's greatest battles were often fought not against external foes, but within their own hearts and souls. Ultimately, through loss and unity, betrayal and forgiveness, each person would be forever changed, their stories a testament to the enduring power of love, resilience, and the relentless human capacity to seek redemption even in the darkest hours.